Do. Woo! You remember the theme song well. Somebody's trying to write words to our theme song. Here we are. Welcome to the lighter side of the dark side. It's your weekly freak show here on RenegadeRadio.com. Also on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you're listening to us on. Soon to be iHeartRadio. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but I will let you know. It's me, Dark Mark, the goth comedian, with two of our favorite guests and my favorite co-host, everybody's favorite vegan heavy metal DJ, Hannah Bach.
Hey, I'm back, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We got that up and running.
That was your suggestion, yes.
Yeah, it was.
And apparently everybody seems to dig it. I get more hits on Instagram than I do on my Instagram. So we've got two of my favorite people. Mm-hmm. This is a half a Hannah's choice because you were like, oh, let's have Jamie back.
Yeah, teamwork.
And she's back. I saw her, great comedian. She did my last CIA show, and that ties in with you. She also did, I saw her at Rainbow Pop at the Laugh Factory. Mm-hmm. She's all about town, and she's got definitely a rockin' tour and has stories upon stories upon stories.
Upon stories.
Everybody's favorite Southern belle, Jamie Gendron.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
Welcome back.
Yes. And speaking of CIA, Carl, the owner of CIA, is the one that introduced me to this young man. You know him from, it's the 20th anniversary.
Can you believe that it's 20 years? I'm thinking to myself, okay.
You've seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Of course.
Yeah.
The waiter in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Now she's impressed.
The one who delivers that phone, and Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro are sitting there, and they're tossing the change on the floor, and I got to go chase after them because they refused to pay their bill at the restaurant, and it was not nice because the door slammed and hit me in the face, and I toppled over like a redwood tree. It was not fun, but it was good.
Also, you know him from Spy Hard with Leslie Nielsen, the epic movie. He was in the soap opera Santa Barbara. He was in. He's been in everything. He was in Charmed.
I've done a few things. I've done about 100 different character roles.
Wow.
You've got one of those faces that like people are like, I know you. I've seen you in something. You're like one of those guys.
That happened to me just like the other day, and I'm thinking to myself, I thought this were done with. We were done with that, And it's kind of cool when every once in a while you hear somebody who says, I think I know you.
Yeah.
And I said, I think you don't.
and then they knew you.
That's right.
By the way, that's Michael Lee Gogin, our friend, actor, writer, singer.
Thank you, Mark.
Guitar player.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people, and a fellow raconteur. Between the two of you, this is gonna fly by the show business stories.
We might have to start making 2-hour episodes, or
I'd have to pay.
After hours.
I'd have to pay Trevor extra, so I don't know about that. But go Trevor!
Trevor wouldn't do that to us.
He'd have to. I don't think it's in his hands. But before we get started, we got to get our sponsor real quick. Very, very exciting week this week because we got a new sponsor. Actually, it was an old sponsor.
Is it who I think it is?
It's who you think it is.
Yeah.
It's Doomy's Home Cooking and Doomy's Next Mex.
Yum.
We ate there last week. We had Phil in the studio.
Oh.
Are you familiar with Doomy's Home Cooking?
No.
It's right on the corner of Fountain and Vine, and I really should have pulled up the address on my phone, which I don't know where my phone is now. But it's right in the corner of Fountain and Vine.
Google, people.
Google Doomy's Home Cooking, KOO, COO. I can't even talk. Yes, or Doomy's Next Mex.
Wow.
The best vegan food you've ever had.
Oh,
It
nice.
really is.
You wouldn't even know it's vegan. We were there last week. We went to Phil took us to the Next Mex. He's got a whole Mexican restaurant because his nachos were voted one of the 10 best nachos in L.A., the only one without meat.
Oh, good.
I had the wet chicken burrito, which is a monster, and it was delicious. You had the chili relleno.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And our friend, the black metal vegan black metal chef, had
The flautas.
the flautas, and they were enormous. So if you're into Mexican, or on the other side, they have shrimp po' boys, Philly cheesesteak, a Big Mac on the secret menu that's bigger than the Big Mac.
And I recommend that with the bacon.
Yes, get the fake bacon.
Yeah.
This is all vegan. It's amazing.
That sounds great.
kombucha.
That sounds really good.
Doomy's Home Cooking, if you're in LA or Toronto. Go to Doomy's Home Cooking
Yeah.
and check them out. Go to audibletrial.com/DMS. Get a free book and a free 30-day trial. They've got Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
There you go.
Get the book. I think Hunter S. Thompson narrates it, so it's probably either him or Johnny Depp. I know Johnny Depp does the Keith Richards book as Keith Richards. That's 9 hours of him as Keith Richards. That's great. Or whatever you want. They got a lot of books in New Orleans, a lot of books on everything. So audibletrial.com/DMS. Free book, free 30-day trial. Take advantage of it. One more sponsor real quick.
We got Lionel Monroe Hat Company on Instagram, custom-made hats by the beautiful Jamie Lynn Berman.
Yes. And she's got to measure my head soon because I need my custom hat.
You do, winter's coming, and you don't have too much up there right now.
Well, that's by choice. Now,
on Audible, I actually listened to Dante's Divine Comedy again. I had read it many years ago, but I listened to it not long ago.
Wow. Yeah, so there you go. Did you use our free trial?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. I got to check that out. Maybe I got some money coming. So that's good. That's Jamie talking, Jamie Gendron.
Yep. Hi, everyone.
Last time I saw you, you did Rainbow Pop.
Yes, I did.
Which is the LGBT show at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And you had, first off, you look great. I mean, you were wearing it's just tightest jeans, bustiest shirt. You're very busty today. By the way, her man was there, and he was very nice.
Busty always.
bought us all drinks. Very nice guy. So I'm not making time, but and you had the crowd in the palm of your hand.
Thank you.
They just couldn't, but you've always know how to work a stage.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I've worked many a stage and many a fashion.
Right. Well, I have to fill everybody in on what's happening. This is Michael. Jamie grew up in New Orleans. In the
I can hear that tone in her voice.
Yeah, not the most tolerant of families, and ended up in this is you can hear the whole story on our last episode.
Yeah.
Ended up as a sex worker, a stripper, and found herself going to L.A. because of our friend Eddie Murphy.
Congratulations on your baby, Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy's got a baby. He's got first off, when did he get a white girlfriend? I didn't see that.
If it's a girl, maybe you can name her after me.
Ah. Do you have any other stories about Eddie Murphy you didn't tell last time, or anything that has to do with Astroburger? I know Trevor's going to crack up.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much covered, except I mean,
how did you stop hearing from
that's
Eddie
right.
Murphy?
I did cover his orgasm noise, which is not.
Yeah.
He doesn't have one. I expected the.
Yeah.
No, that is his real laugh.
Wow.
So he's very quiet orgasms?
Extremely. Just he liked to have phone sex sometimes, and he would just call, and you'd be talking dirty to him, and just in the middle of it, he would get dead silent, and you would know, okay, he popped his nut.
That's one thing I have in common with Eddie. Well, I'm funny, too. That's another thing I have in common with Eddie Murphy. I got to be honest. I'm not loud when I come.
I don't give fake noises. Let me put it that way.
Oh,
I don't believe in
nice
fake praise or fake noise.
I agree with you there. Why reward them for bad behavior?
I'm not going to pretend that I got off if I didn't.
Right.
I'm not going to make noises like you're the most incredible lover on earth if you're not moving anything.
Right.
But I've had girlfriends be frustrated that I wasn't making more noise.
I like howling. I like telling my partner that it does feel good, and
Really?
I'm gonna hold on tight and just yeah.
I told you he's a ladies' man. He's actually he's married to a sex therapist still, or your
Doctor of Sexology. Yeah, she's great, Dr. Mary Lou, and she's an amazing person. But her specialty in human sexuality is people with special needs, disabilities of all kinds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, was she giving you therapy? Is that how you guys met, or what?
No.
I don't know.
No. Actually,
did you know she was a therapist when you met her?
No. What happened was she wanted to go from one field into another.
Okay.
She was an IRS agent. She did over 8,500 audits in her career as working with the IRS.
Wow.
She went from spreading sheets to the spreadsheets, you know.
Or the other way around.
Yeah, the other way around.
Spreadsheets to the spreading sheet.
I
That's
spread
right.
a lot of sheets.
Yeah, and she's so she had a burning desire to go and really get that degree.
Right.
And I think I had a lot to do with some of the influencing. I said, well, let's go for it, you know. So she went for it. And we've been together, knock on wood, this wood, yeah,
I'm not sure.
11 years now. So it's really been special.
Yeah.
So how did you meet?
We originally met at a conference for little people. And this was way...
I'm never invited to those.
Do you want to go to a little...
Sure, I would love to. Why not?
Really? Okay.
I mean, why not?
I'd go too.
Well,
That'd be
and hold that thought because I do want to hear a little story how you met, because I've said this on the air before, but Pride Festival that they had this year, everybody I know who posted on Facebook was straight.
But I didn't.
Did
see
you go to
anybody
Pride?
Straight.
No.
I was
See?
there, but I didn't see anybody straight.
Oh, really? Because
I
that's
saw a
all
lot of hot gay men with their abs and their little booty shorts.
Yeah?
It was nice.
Because everybody I know is like, oh, I'm at Pride, like just all straight guys and women. I'm like, are there any gay people down there? I mean,
Well,
what's
You know, I think it was really important this year for us to show like our support for our friends. in the
yeah,
community.
I'm all for
You know,
that, but
what's
it's like
going on in the world. So
That's what the A is for in the moniker, allies.
I've
Yeah.
heard asexual, but anyway. So you're at a little people convention.
Yeah, this was like many, many years ago. Me, prior to getting married, her not even thinking about marriage at that time, and we had a little fling at a convention, and
Oh, really?
It was fun, yeah. But I was already semi-engaged at that point.
See, I told you this guy's a ladies man.
you are a ladies' man.
So I went off, and to be blunt, if she were to tell her angle of the story, I was a real asshole.
No.
Yeah, I had testosterone all over the place, and but I was like just tough-minded for some reason. And let's see, she went her way, I went my way. I had 3 kids with a beautiful person,
Yeah.
and I've got 3 great kids, boys. They're all adults now, and she has 1 son.
Right.
From her marriage. We married average height people. So
Your wife, I read, was 5'1"?
5'2".
5'2". Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and coochie coo, you know. So
Yeah.
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 She was great, and she still is great. She's a good person.
Yeah.
And we talk, you know, probably once a month or so, and because you know you got 3 kids, what are you gonna do, right? I have a grandson also,
Yeah.
and he's a little person.
Yeah.
So he has the same type of dwarfism that my eldest and I do have.
Mm-hmm.
3 generations right there, which is pretty not common. So,
Oh, okay.
so that worked out pretty good, and God bless him. He just had to have his hips rotated. So we go through that at a young age for our type of dwarfism. Most people don't know that, you know, there's over 200 types of dwarfism.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So you think that just the average culture of white and black have problems? We have an issue with trying to remember the challenges between each type of dwarfism.
Well, I was going to get to that because you were the first was a teenager you were born without a hip.
That's right. I had no hip socket.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
had to have hip hop socket surgery,
Yeah.
and you were the first teenager to have it.
I was the first teen to have the total hip replacement, the modern day one,
Wow.
and which is the same kind that we have today. Prior to that, they had like the ball and socket, and it just looked horrible. I knew this older woman who said, "I hope you get a better technology than one I have." And I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I'm looking how painful it was for her to walk around,
Yeah.
even in her own kitchen. So it was a mess.
Well, you didn't have a hip. You didn't have a hip socket.
No.
I still haven't. It still boggles my mind how that worked.
Well, we're younger, we were
Yeah.
lighter, you know, as a child. But the sad part is, it's like the femur head was like pointed
Right.
into the pelvis area.
Ugh.
So eventually, it's bone on bone because the cartilage is being cut up so much.
Right.
Come on, stop it! You can handle this.
Oh, trust me, I've been sliced and diced my
No,
fair
she
share.
says that
So I-
she's had surgeries with bones and the whole thing. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah.
But getting back to Mary
to
Lou and I,
accommodate them.
so we met each other at a convention originally. She came to my wedding. So,
That's
it was-
awkward.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
So you were fated to be together, but it took a while.
it
for
took
you
a
to-
lifetime, right?
It took a lifetime to
So we ended up meeting again at a convention, and she basically said, I'm a free agent now. And I thought, really, you're doing entertainment? I was like, went way over my head.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, you idiot, I'm available. I go, well, I'm pretty much available. We're just not communicating. It's been like that for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing was happening with her. She had a, pretty good relationship with her spouse, and it just wasn't working out for some reason. So we teamed up, and we've been together ever since.
See, it's never too late. You never know what could happen.
You never know what's going to happen.
And
when it does, oh, boy.
is that right, Jane? Because you've been with your man for a while, right?
15 years.
Yeah, so you know.
Yeah. So and
Yeah.
but before then, man, it looks like all of Hollywood.
In my lifetime, I basically fucked the population of a small city.
Oh, really? And you want to get close to the mic when you say that, too.
I tried doing the math on it one time on how many sexual partners I must have had if you include clients from when I was in the sex industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped when I got to 10,000 because I was like, oh,
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Not even like John Holmes was bragging about those numbers. So, yeah.
So what do you know that we don't know about sex? Because I've had
Boy, that was an open-ended question, right?
Because I've had about 9,998 partners myself. What do you know that I don't know? I'm kidding. I've had 9, but go ahead.
I do go into it with a certain advantage over genetically born females because I understand what nerve endings are involved in the male genitalia.
Yes, I would
to-
imagine you do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would say that more than anything else is it gives just an upper hand of understanding your partner's reproductive organs better.
Yeah.
If you've once upon a time had them yourself, it makes it easier to
You
get
still
it,
you
yeah.
still have that sense memory of.
Yeah, I mean you don't forget orgasms.
Hannah, is that true or?
I think that's true. That's true. I'm sorry, Hannah, for...
No, I know it's true for Michael.
I don't know. I've
It's
only
true,
had,
Hannah.
I've
Tell
only
them.
had one partner that's ever pleased me, so
Oh,
What?
1 out of 5.
I'm going to
so.
have to do something
Yeah.
about
We're
that.
gonna have a chat here.
Well, now
Oh,
I'll
my
say,
God.
out of the population of the city I fucked, and
Yeah.
like seriously, it would be a tiny little housing project of the ones that were good.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Right. So it's what I was saying, and I'm glad it's all come out pretty early in the show. You both have had, I wouldn't say tragic, but the hard upbringings, and you've turned it around, and now you're both you're performers. Now, you were introduced to me by Amazon Eve,
Yeah.
and I thought you had done comedy longer than you had.
Well, because I did a lot of entertaining and hostessing and emceeing and organizing and
Right.
even owned pageants of my own that I held and produced. So
Yeah.
I was on stage making jokes and laughing with crowds for a long time. It's just I had never done it as a specific stand-up,
Yeah, because and this is why I mentioned it, and I think you're very funny. I think what you do is great, but I was the time especially at the Laugh Factory, I was expecting. Apparently, somebody's getting murdered out there. They have this improv class over there, and I guess they're really going out. They're having some orgasms. See, that's
I
that's
heard
what.
the conversation. I left my vibrator out there, so.
Oh, okay.
Someone found it.
I didn't know you brought it. So, but I was expecting more jokes and more crowd interaction because I know at my show it's a little weirder and you can take it a little further. There, I thought it was going to be a little more of a crowd interaction, a little jokier,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. It was like I'm going to get this story out, and their eyes were on you. They were laughing when you wanted them to laugh, but it wasn't that many times.
We talked about it after the show. It was that week when they started separating the kids from the families and all of that stuff. And,
okay.
and I had been watching it and was really upset by it. And
That'll do it, yeah.
when I left home at 14 in Houston, half of my best friends were Latina girls. So I have I've
Right.
always had some of my closest friends that were Latinas, and when that was going on, I just wasn't in a funny headspace. Like,
Okay, so that definitely explains it. It was a fun night though, and as I said, you owned the stage. As soon as you got on the stage, everybody just snapped and paid attention.
Yeah, I think the best bit I went into was the Dr. Ruth jokes because it was in good, harmless fun.
Dr. Ruth?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember her.
And I basically said, you know, who the fuck is she to call herself a sex expert, you know, when until she's been on a street corner sucking dick for $20
Yeah.
a pop or something like that. I forget what
I don't
said
even know if she's still. I mean, I don't know.
She's actually pretty reserved. You know, like what you're describing, and I've met her.
Yeah,
She's about 4 inches taller than I am, and
I was gonna say, yeah.
and she's funny, and she hit on me. I swear
Wait,
to God.
wait, no. See, I knew this is. I knew the two of you had stories. Dr. Ruth hit on you?
Dr. Ruth! Yeah, you know, we went to.
When was this?
This was like 3 or so years ago. She was in the area promoting her latest book, and Mary Lou and I got a chance to go see her.
Right.
And she kept on eyeballing me, and then Mary Lou and I both went up to her, and she goes, "Oh, this is your boyfriend?" I'm like, you know. So it was kind of cute, but she's really straight-laced.
Well, it's
you
nice
know?
to see that she's still sexual.
She
She can get
she talks about being that, and
No, but she was checking you out.
she was checking it out.
I know she's older, and trust me, I've been with older women. You got to be careful because it's you know, they don't get wet. It's like non-dairy creamer down there. But you got to, you got to.
Oh no! Oh no!
But yeah. So I don't know. You know what? Honestly, I know you were with Mary Lou, and she's lovely. I've met her and I flirted with her badly, and that didn't go anywhere either. But you remember, you were right there. I was
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. If Dr. Ruth hit on me, I think I would. Just to say that I did.
Absolutely.
I'd take Dr. Drew for a spin. So
Dr. Drew? Okay, but not Dr. Ruth.
No.
No.
You actually gave me great advice that night at the Laugh Factory because there was another comedian performing who was a country guy, and I was loving his act, and so we were talking about it afterwards. And that's when he said, "You're a storyteller, but you're not getting in your punchlines, and you got them.
Yeah.
You just got to get the punchlines in."
Because when you're on this show, you're funny. You got stories, you got punchlines, and you got the tragedies,
I
you got
went
the pathos.
home and I worked on it for a solid week, rewriting a bunch of stuff. And I took part of your idea because Mark was like, "Well, go home and write 20 differences between genetic females and trans women." And
Wow.
there you've got punchline after punchline after punchline.
Well, give me the best one, or one of them.
One of them is, ladies, once a month, you get a visit from your Aunt Flo. Meanwhile, once a month, I call home and my Aunt Flo says, "Why the fuck are you calling here?" and hangs the fuck up on my ass.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's
Aunt
good.
Flo. I haven't heard that. Man, that you are from the South.
Yeah, wow.
You know, you're in an area that's pretty new, right? Transgender.
Not new. I mean, we've existed as long as humanity has.
But I mean-
the
but I mean-
technology.
Technology,
the
but-
technology didn't come into play until
Acceptance, I think, is what he's talking about.
Comedic on the comedic level.
Oh, definitely. If I would have tried this 30 years ago, there's no way any club would have ever let me on their stage.
Right, you're pioneering.
I'm hoping so.
Interesting. Yeah, I would say so. You, Amazon Eve, others, but because I was reading today all the bad feedback of Louis C.K. going on stage. Nobody wants him on the stage anymore. And if you're a white male and you fucked up, you're out. Which is good. I mean, and on the other hand, here at the Ruby, I was just complaining last week that they have an LGBT show and there's a straight man on it. And I can't get on Rainbow Pop. I was there. I was like, I could kill this crowd. I wear makeup on stage. I could kill this crowd, but I can't get on the show. And I know Aiden.
Oh, Aiden Park is
great.
an amazing comedian. He lost his husband not long ago to cancer, and he has
Or maybe I should ask. I don't know. I just assume.
thrown himself back into his work, and I was going to tell you, ask, because it's not always a 100% LGBT lineup. They will include a heterosexual because it's about being inclusive.
Right. Well, maybe
You know,
that's,
and
maybe that's what it is.
Aiden accomplished history with that with the Laugh Factory. Yes, the Laugh Factory has always had LGBT, well, maybe not the T's, but they've always had gay
Right.
performers.
Right, right.
However, Aiden was the first one to convince the club to do an all LGBT show. So that's the first time in the club's history, and that's one of the more famous, chains of clubs. And that's the first time in all these years that they've had a solid lineup like that.
Nice.
Have you had any challenges being a T in the comedy?
In the comedy world, as a matter of fact, it's been quite the opposite. I was petrified of it, and then once I got in there, like you and everyone else, everywhere I go, I'm an
after Louis C.K. jerked off in front of you, I'm sure it was fine. But,
Oh, thanks for the image.
No, never got to see Louis' cock.
That's one I could go without.
Yeah.
so if he jerked off in front of you, then he should never do comedy again.
I'm pretty sure Eddie Murphy's was more impressive anyway.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
You would, yeah.
So we know about that. So the rumors are true. Eddie, Eddie. You said Eddie's into all types of women.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why he's having a 10th child. It's not that he's trying to. I think a lot of people, especially in my community, he would be labeled what we call a chaser, which is someone who fetishizes us for sexual purposes only, like no interest in us as people, just a
get it
sexual
out there.
kink,
Right.
Yeah.
And Eddie is quick to get labeled that because he's kept it his business all of these years. But I mean, I don't really think he's so much as a chaser as the type of man, and there are a lot of these type of men who just love women. And if they're secure in themselves, then they can overlook the fact that you cannot help a birth defect that you were born with. And as you know from your own experiences,
Absolutely.
you can't help those things.
Can't
but
hide it.
And you can't really hide it in the beginning, except that, luckily, surgeries and things are there there for people like me. But even that only takes you to a certain point.
That's absolutely true.
I told you we were in a feminist theater. Somebody you just referenced being born with a penis as a birth defect. So we are in the right place.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That was a bad joke that nobody laughed at. So
Trevor's
that's
laughing.
not what you were meaning. Yeah, Trevor got it. Trevor got it. Everybody else is like, what? Huh? It's
We're
a
all super
long way
serious.
around for.
Mayo got the joke.
Huh? Yeah. So, but anyway, 20 years since I was going to say we've talked about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but what did you do in Spy Hard? Because I recall seeing that, and
That was kind of cool because, let's see, Savage, Holland.
Savage Steve Holland directed that.
Yeah, what happened was that film had another director,
Oh, okay.
and Disney wanted some additions brought to the film,
Okay.
and the other director refused. So
Ooh.
they had to bring Savage in.
And Savage Steve is the director of Better Off Dead. We had Diane Franklin on the
We
show.
did,
One Crazy Summer. I think he's great.
He's a great guy. I love him dearly. I've only worked with him a couple of times. And when I did work on that movie, I had done a year or two prior to that a TV show where I was Dr. O'Connor, but I was mistaken for Dr. Small. And it was the Beans. It was the Beans Baxter show, which was
I remember that.
that was a great opportunity. And
Yeah.
So I did that, and then he remembered me because when it came for the audition pool, he just said, "Who's coming in for the audition?" He just thumbed down the list, and he said, "Cancel the audition, hire this guy here." That was me, and I went into doing the role.
That's great. He just remembered you from Beans Baxter, and that's great.
Yeah, and what the whole role for that was, there's a female spy. And she is looking over the maps and she's taking pictures, and you see the shadow walking into the room, and I basically say, "Put your hands up." And of course they augment my voice a little. "Put your hands up."
So it's like a big shadow, and
And
you
the
walk
big
in the
shadow,
front.
and
Yeah.
it's just a wee little me, and it was kind of cool. And of course that's a nice gag, and it was in the first 5 minutes, so it was safe, because everything after that kind of falls down.
I got to see that again. It's been a while. But the other thing I think probably a lot of people would probably recognize you from, or have recognized you from, is Charmed.
Yeah, but not really because I'm dead throughout that entire show. All you see is me lying on the job, right? I'm lying, I'm dead.
Yeah. But you were the gnome. What was it? The gnome wizard, or
Yeah, with a Scottish accent. It was really cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
But I got to, I got to meet my favorite one was Rose McGowan, and
She's beautiful.
Love
she's
her.
so beautiful. And we hit it off because at that time her man was, or what's his name?
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson, and I was a lead singer for Minnie Kiss, and she was like really into that little, metal rock situation. So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, just been in so many movies. Now I was looking at your IMDb page. It seems to have been pared down since because you say you've been in 100 things, but there's not 100 things there.
Yeah, there is actually about 100 different character roles.
Yeah.
So you're not really seeing the full picture there because not all the production companies put their information on there.
Right.
Like I do a role on Sliders to die for.
Right.
And originally, when I was going to do the show, they were going to cancel an episode. And I threw it back at the executive producer through my agent. I said, tell them to give me a role that is more meaningful because this is bullshit.
Ooh.
I just threw it right back at them because they had to pay me. It was a pay or play. You get the role. They don't do it. They cancel it. And I said, fuck that shit. Right? I mean, that's what you say.
Yeah.
And I want to work. I said, it's nice to get the easy money, but I want to feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they found a role as the healer.
Right.
I was the old magical healer. And I did a role opposite John Ray Davies, and it was just absolutely stunning because it was done in the caves in Griffith Park.
Right.
And I go in and I'm doing this Latin mumbo jumbo stuff and I'm chanting like I'm a Catholic priest. And he says, you've said, go now. It's done. The mass is ended, kind of a thing,
Right.
And I said, I didn't realize that. I've been saying it all these years. I didn't know. So you get it, and everybody who
Trust me,
watches.
that was funnier than a joke I did about 3 minutes ago.
It's hilarious.
But it was like one of those experiences that was really magical,
Yeah.
and you could see that anytime if you're looking at Slider episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've been, like I say, you just got this face. You've been on so many movies. Ghoulies, Critters.
Ghoulies. I love Ghoulies.
I love
What were you in
Ghoulies and
Ghoulies?
Critters.
No Ghoulies. Critters, yes.
Oh,
twice.
okay. I thought you were in. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No.
Ghoulies, Goonies. It's so many.
No, but
You were in Critters.
twice because they'd used me in one episode. There were 4 episodes, and then they used me in a second one where they just flashback or something.
Right.
So
So,
they got
you got paid for Critters too, but you didn't have to do anything.
double entendre. I loved it.
Oh, great.
So yeah, it's all that adds up. It's nice, In my first 10 years of being in the industry, which is like a miracle, I became fully vested, and that's a nice thing when that happens.
Nice.
So I never thought I would ever be a union guy.
Yeah.
But when you just work and you just pay attention to the work and the body of work, before you know it, those years just fly right by.
Well, like I say, it's been 20 years since Fear and Loathing. It doesn't seem like it does.
No, it doesn't seem like it. And, the residual checks are cool, but, they diminish also.
Yeah.
So, you want to continue to work. I've done several pilots. I want to continue to work. And, we bring up a good point about disability problems. All my life I've lived a life of disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
But who gives a rat's ass if it looks good on film or whatever?
Right.
They go beyond that. So I've been very, very fortunate to do my craft without being totally thrown under the bus.
Well, I was reading an interview with you, and you were saying how there's no limit to what little people can do. Where are the love scenes?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any love scenes?
Yes, but I was an extraterrestrial. I was in bed with Judy Landers.
That's not bad.
And it was actually during that month when the 2 sisters did their pose in Playboy.
Audrey and Judy Landers.
Yeah.
We're going back to the 80s. Hannah and Trevor had no idea.
And
what
I
we're talking
swear to God, you think you're, Miss Beautiful over here, just ever, just open, right? And I'm in this bubble costume, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh my God. It's like I couldn't touch myself. I had this big bubble extraterrestrial thing, and I had to make up these weird sounds. Get these sounds right now, you know, like extraterrestrial,
Wow.
you know. And
That sounds like Eddie Murphy coming.
that's right. That's right.
I was just thinking it. I
We all were
swear I
thinking
was
it.
just
Yeah, we
thinking it.
were.
We're stuck on Eddie. Poor Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, please. He's got another child.
Now, do that noise again. What was that? That's how aliens come.
Well, that's I don't know. In that case, it was just about the sound of laughing and that kind of stuff. But she was great to work with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She was very sweet, and you say dumb blonde, but that was the character role. But she's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
They usually are.
I'm not kidding. Yeah.
I sitting between two blondes, I better say that.
There you go.
But
You better say the right thing, right?
well, I always say the wrong thing. And I continue to- but you were Eddie Murphy's not the only celebrity that you've been with.
No, Eddie Murphy's not.
Come on, spill the tea.
And
And you've been nervous the whole show.
he's
You're
not
you're
the only one I've even hung out with.
Really?
Yeah.
Who else are you hung out with?
Well, there was Boy George and Culture Club.
Oh, because that was your hero. I didn't know this.
Yes.
How did you end up hanging out with Boy George?
I
And the club.
The first time I ever wore makeup in public, it was Mardi Gras of 1982 or 83.
Really?
And there was
Nice.
a costume contest at our school for Mardi Gras. And so I asked one of the girls at school that was my friend to help me try to look like Boy George for the costume contest. But I don't look anything like Boy George at all.
I'll say.
So
No.
I ended up looking like me, you know. And at the end of the day, I was in my last class, and there was this one girl who was, frankly, she was the town slut and a bitch anyway. But anyway.
Is she still the town slut? And
Probably, except now she's probably got like 5 or 6 kids with 7 baby daddies.
so
That's
she's
usually how it goes.
so she's falling through.
Yeah, pretty much. But she thought she was going to keep terrorizing me. And she was like, why are you wearing all that makeup? Are you a faggot? Are you a faggot?
Oh my God.
And it was, we had the captain of the football team in our class. And he sat right behind me for that class. And he was the one that defended me and stood up and said, you know what? Why don't you shut your fucking mouth?
Yeah.
You're only pissed off because he's fucking prettier than you.
Ooh.
That's
like
all
it.
I had to hear to know that, okay, well, I can get away with makeup in public now.
Yeah.
So it was like little piece by piece. And when I met Boy George, it was on his first trip where he was allowed back into the U.S. after his heroin bust in the 80s. And he was banned for 3 years from coming to the United States.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so his first trip where he was allowed back in, I was with my best friend who's tattooed on my back. And we were at, it's a Norm's now, but it was called Fred's back then. And we were going to the payphone past where him and his entourage were sitting, and I didn't even notice them at first, except I heard somebody ask, are those guys? And then I heard Boy George's voice, which I knew like backwards and forwards because I was a huge fan.
Right.
And I jerked my head around because I heard him say, actually, they're transsexuals. Aren't they gorgeous?
Wow.
And when I heard him say that, I was like, oh my God, girl, that's Boy George. And I'm pointing at him, and I'm like so excited. 2 nights later, we meet up again
Nice.
at the big trans club in the 80s out here. Was called Peanuts, and it was on Santa Monica Boulevard. Well,
I've heard of it.
there was also the midship, but the midship was more for like Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner types, not really so much my type.
Wait. So
Wasn't there the
difference?
Lacage also? There was
The difference is I never knew one single day of my adult life as a man.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the difference.
And then there was the Lacage, right? Lacage.
There was a La Caja Fa in Vegas. I'm not sure. Or
We
there
had
might
one
have been one here, but
on
I
La
don't
Cienega.
remember
On
it.
La Cienega.
Oh, on La Cienega?
Yeah.
I turned a lot of tricks on La Cienega. But hey, there were some good hooker motels on that street. What can I say? And I liked looking at myself, and some of them had the mirrors everywhere. Anyway,
So Boy George is at Peanuts?
so Boy George came into Peanuts with Culture Club.
Oh, my
and-
God.
Oh, the whole club came in?
Oh, the whole group came in.
God, what a
And
night, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm standing there, and I had on these black latex chaps with a thong and a black latex bustier.
Right.
Sexy.
And
Please wear that next time you're on the show.
all the other girls were going up and like, can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph, please, please? And not everybody had cameras with them all the time back then, so it wasn't a lot of picture taking. But anyway, so they were asking him for autographs. And then I just said, I just want to introduce myself to you. And I told him the little story about the Mardi Gras contest. And I
Yeah.
said, so honestly, it's just a pleasure to meet you. And he said, you're the only person that hasn't come up and bugged me for an autograph. And I said, well, sweetheart, you're not the first celebrity I've met. And I found out pretty early on that they prefer to be treated like any other human being because they don't get that a lot from strangers.
Right.
And I said, for me, it's an honor to hang out with you. I don't need your autograph or a picture with you. I mean, this will be special enough for me. So then I bought him a beer. And we kept talking and hanging out, and we're laughing with the rest of the group. And the blonde guy from Culture Club, who, if you watch the VH1 Where Are They Now thing, was talking about all of the gay drama that was always going down in the group because of Boy George and the Latin guy in the group. They were lovers.
Oh, yeah.
And Karma Chameleon, all those songs were written for the Latin guy that was in Culture Club. Now, the blonde
forgive my ignorance. Were they all gay?
No. The blonde guy was swearing up and down. He was hetero to the bone, couldn't be swayed for any amount of love nor money. And Boy George told me, he said, he is such a bloody prick. I would give anything just for somebody to turn him out in some kind of way where he can't say that shit anymore.
Ooh.
And I looked at him and I said, you know what? No problem, darling. I got this. Watch. And I just got up, walked over to the dude and said, give me your hand. And he said, why? I said, just give me your fucking hand. So he gave me his hand, and I took him out to the dance floor, and by the end of that song, he had his tongue down my throat. And Boy George and the rest of the group were off to the side like, yes! And so I hung out and partied with him the rest of the night.
Conquer.
Not the first time you turned a straight man or quote unquote straight.
No,
right?
because I don't even think that River Phoenix, who I think you're hinting at.
No, I was just saying. Yeah, no, that was a great story. That
Yeah.
you turned a straight guy in Culture Club.
Oh, I totally. That was before surgeries or anything. I just had female hormone, like tons of estrogen, but that was
Right.
it.
Yeah.
No plastic parts yet.
Right.
And he was all about it.
Oh, I can
all
imagine.
about it. So.
Yeah, he
And that's why when I watched that VH1 Where Are They Now special, and he was trying to be really like condescending and degrading of the group, I was sitting there at home like, you son of a bitch. I'd have had you on your knees blowing me before that night was done if I'd have wanted to so fast. Whatever.
where they didn't do their research. They could have got you for that special.
Yeah, right.
They didn't go to Peanuts to do their research.
Yeah, well.
Well, you already said it. So and you've hinted at it online.
Let's hear about River Phoenix.
Oh, belated happy birthday. Actually, really belated happy birthday, but
And for our younger viewers, because I've had to explain who he is now. Which is
Yeah.
odd.
So are you
Because he's been dead.
memoir writing? Are you?
I wrote the manuscript already, and it's been in an editor's hands for a year. I was telling Hannah, and I saw him the other day. He still doesn't have it done.
What's wrong
So
with that?
I'm going to
person?
have to take my manuscript back and just deal with it myself because
You need a proofreader.
I probably am going to need a lot of help because I wrote it in a novel format. I didn't write it to be like a screenplay, and I know it plays from when I was in drama club and learning the plays for parts and stuff like that, but I don't know.
So is it going to be a novel, a biography, a play, a movie?
I want it to be a screenplay for a film.
Okay.
And I want to tell the real truth about what life was like for people like myself in the 80s and early 90s because so far a lot of girls, and y'all are out there guilty, write these books that are their memoirs, and they mean well, I'm sure. They really mean well cashing those paychecks, I'm even more sure. But so far it's all been sugar-coated.
So who would play you in your mind?
I don't know
in your
who would
wildest
play me in
fantasy?
my mind, but it would not be a genetic female. No offense, Hannah.
No,
No, but because they had the whole Scarlett Johansson.
I despise when they do that. There are tons of transgender women who would love the opportunity to get into the acting world. And when those opportunities arise for a part like that, I don't think they should be picked over just because it's Scarlett Johansson.
I agree.
Who I love. I think she's beautiful, talented, she's not a fucking transgender person.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
It would
can
be
a
like if
transgender-
I wanted to play Eddie Murphy now. How would people take that?
Right.
These days, they probably say, "Okay, go ahead."
You know as well
They
as
had
I
a
do.
white guy play Michael Jackson in the movie.
Oh no, they stopped that whole project because of the backlash.
Oh, okay. But I know that the Scarlett Johansson, they
Yeah, she backed
Robert
out.
Tug. But is there an actress that you have in mind? A transgender actress?
For
Besides yourself?
for older me, I would rather it be someone like Candace Cain.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of her work. I've watched her since she was in Wigstock back in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
And she was a little baby just starting. And I met her in 2004. We have a mutual friend, so we've talked on the phone several times.
Eddie
and-
Murphy?
No.
Oh.
You are so
Actually-
funny. I feel like
Former-
kicking you by now, right?
Kind of an ex-trans, like she dropped out of the cult and went back to being a boy and became a hairdresser.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, but she kept her or he kept his trans friends. And so that's how me and Candace got
Okay.
introduced. But if I was going to have anyone play me as adult me, that's who I would want. Or
Right.
young me, in that case, it wouldn't be a transgender person playing the part if it was young child me.
So
Because
it would be a young man.
I don't want to give away too much, but the opening scene of the movie is I've been kidnapped at 6 years old by my stepfather, and he's holding a gun in my mouth.
Oh no.
And that's the opening scene of the film.
Oh my God.
So if I don't grab people's attention with that, a
Okay.
6-year-old with a gun in their mouth,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what else I can do to grab their attention.
That's
and then
horrible.
from there, it goes into, you know, a lot more stuff. And it's mainly, like I was telling Hannah, this film that I want to make, it's not even for me or my ego.
Mm-hmm.
But I started out with 5 other girls who were all about my age, every single one of us thrown away by our families to the streets. And out of those 6 of us, I'm the only one left.
Wow.
No.
The
Wow.
last one died in 2004 of the other 5. So, yeah, it means something to me to do this project for them.
Of
Dedication and
yeah.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
of just the streets, disease.
Her
Or,
on my back.
yeah. I see.
She was murdered by her boyfriend.
Okay.
And then 3 of them died of AIDS, and 1 died of a drug overdose.
So
I know, really funny material, huh?
no, it's whatever you want to talk about. As long as it's interesting.
No.
But
It's
that's
just
real to life. That's
this
way.
is-
That is my real purpose behind wanting to make the film, is because I think that their stories deserve to be told. And even, you know, this new show Pose that everybody's raving about.
Yeah, let's hear about what do you
Because
think about that?
Janet Mock is behind it, and I realize that Janet Mock has become the holy priestess of advocates with the new High Trans Council of the new school. But
Which I don't think you're a part of.
no, I don't consider myself new school or part of any high council.
All right.
I just consider myself a veteran that survived a war, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, with Janet, I'm sorry, sister, but you sold out. You sold out the '80s for the paycheck, because what she made with Pose is an artistic vision of what that period of time was like for us. But like in their storyline, they have one character with HIV. In the real '80s, it would have been more like one character without it.
Right.
You know, this cat fighty, put a top coat on my nails and you better be there Friday for me to get my revenge on the ball. All of that would have been fine and good, except it really would have been knocking bitches' teeth out, fighting with chains, bats, broken beer bottles. Like, it's not this powder puff cotton candy dynasty, tranny dynasty thing that she created with Ryan Murphy, who I'm not a terribly big fan of either, so.
All right.
I think he's just kind of shortchanged our community. I really do.
You know?
He had Erica Irvin
Yeah.
on Freak Show season. He had a transgender
our mutual
actress
friend,
in
yes.
his lineup and repertoire of actors and actresses to refer to.
Right.
The very next season had a trans part,
Right.
and they put a bald man with just makeup, with head slick like yours, to play that part. So, yeah.
Was that you, Mark?
It wasn't me, no. Trust me, I could use the break. But you were going to say, and I hate to transition from
River Phoenix?
who of course is Joaquin Phoenix's older brother, Oscar-nominated actor, one of the probably best-looking actors ever.
Yeah,
The owner, or he passed away in front of the Viper Room.
That's right.
Yes, he did.
And he would have had Leonardo DiCaprio's career if he had not passed away.
agreed.
Definitely.
He would've.
Well, he was
How
heading
did
there.
Yeah.
How does he meet you?
He met me on Sunset Boulevard, where we're at, oddly enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Meltdown Comics?
Down by where the old Tower Records was.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Around the corner from the old Spagos.
Yeah.
Yeah, where that little shopping area was. We met there, and the funny thing is I had gone to see The Final Crusade, the Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, or whatever it's called. I had gone to see that the week before, and River Phoenix plays young Indiana Jones in the film.
Right.
And there's a scene where they're chasing him on the train, and he falls down, and like this rhino horn comes up between his legs, and something kind of caught my eye in that scene that I was like, I think I just saw something tasty. But anyway, so a week later, I'm on Sunset Boulevard.
I gotta watch that scene again.
Me too.
Well, you wouldn't find the same thing I found tasty, probably.
Probably not.
Now that we got that little clarification.
Yeah. So a week later, I'm on Sunset Boulevard about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And he pulls up, and you could tell that he was trying to, like, be low-key incognito because he was in, like, a rust bucket hoopty Camry or something. It was either a Camry or an Accord, but it was something like that, and it was not what you would expect, like, the hot rising star to be driving.
It's what I drive.
Yeah, and he had those long skater bangs all put back in a baseball cap on backwards so that you couldn't really recognize him at first glance.
Yeah.
Right.
And he pulled up next to me, and he's like, come here, just talk to me. And I didn't, look, the transgender girls did not hang out on Sunset Boulevard back in those days, so I didn't think he knew. And we started talking through the car window, and he's like, why don't we just go for a ride together? And I was like, okay, sure, let's do that. And I hopped in, and we went up to the Hollywood Hills, and he pulled out his cock, which, frankly, gagged me before I even gagged on it, okay?
Wow.
Just seeing it gagged me, okay?
The Phoenix Rose.
Oh, the Phoenix was packing a good 11 inches. Trust me.
Really?
Easily.
Wow.
A good 11 inches.
Holy shit! Because somebody was on the show told me DiCaprio's like packed like that too. Those two assholes. Not only they're great looking, they got big dicks.
I never did DiCaprio because
And
he
Michael
was a
Gogin
child.
too. The same thing.
He was still a little kid
Yeah.
at that age. But, yeah, when I saw River's dick, I was like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with this except maybe put it over my shoulder and burp it, but okay. So he asked me if I would strip for him in front of the headlights on his car up in the Hollywood Hills, parked in one of those little turnabouts.
Very
right.
White Snake.
So I was like, okay, this will be fun. So he got out of the car. He had the doors open, so the music was blaring, and the headlights are on. And he sat on the hood of his car, leaned back in between the two headlights on me. And
Here I go again on my own.
God, I wish I could remember the song that I was dancing to because I was so focused on him stroking his dick that I was like, I wasn't even.
Can't blame you.
It could have been Dolly Parton's Coat of Many Colors for all I know. I don't know.
This is
But
the last time I'm going to mention him, but was he bigger than Eddie Murphy?
Actually, yeah.
Prettier for sure.
No, for sure. He was a good at least 2 inches bigger than Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Eddie's got about 9.
It's not bad. That's
Eddie's working with decent. Yeah, definitely decent. Well above average, but
Yeah.
but not like, oh my God. I mean, River
Not
was,
striking.
oh my God. And then I remember the stupidest thought was he was sucking on my tits sitting on the hood of his car, and I was looking down, and I had one of those stupid teenage moments where I was like, I'm never going to wash these nipples again. And so I took him back to my place afterwards, and we had one hell of a night together. And
The truth comes out.
trust me, with that dick every bit of noise coming out of me was genuine and for real.
There you go. That's nice.
And he knew that
He
you
knew
were,
once we were naked, I was still like just on hormones and hadn't had surgeries or anything. So yeah, he was cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he as impressed with your dick as you were with his?
No, but he did choke on mine just like I did his.
Oh, wow! What I'm just trying to think of the.
Did you get a visual just now? You had a visual.
Yes,
I got one.
yeah.
I actually pinned his head against
Young
my
Indiana
headboard
Jones,
and grabbed onto the
Nice.
headboard and skull fucked him, if you
Yeah.
must know.
I'm sorry. Say that one more
That's
time.
good.
I
That's
said
nice.
I pinned his head against my headboard with him sitting up, and I grabbed onto the sides of the headboard and skull fucked him.
Wow.
Well done.
I'm thinking of the Indiana Jones where he cracked the whip on his chin.
And we're not talking about the Grateful Dead here,
Yeah.
okay?
I partied with them too, though. And the
Ooh.
one that I was with that night, and that was when I was a stripper in New Orleans, and they were performing at the Superdome. And they came into the strip club I was working in, and they picked me and 2 other trans girls and took us back to the VIP champagne booth.
Wait a second. The Grateful Dead's at the trains
Yes.
too?
And we went back to, and I didn't think they knew because this was a straight strip club.
They're an
Nice.
exploring
So
family.
we're sitting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
they're
they were.
ordering.
Jerry Garcia's.
They're ordering bottles of Dom Perignon like it's Diet Cokes, and I mean they pulled out spliffs, which I know nobody knows what that is anymore, but it was what a blunt was before the
Right.
nasty ass cigar papers ruined the flavor.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And so we smoked spliffs and drank bottle after bottle, and I looked over at one of my friends and I'm like, "But girl, what happens? Like if they
Right.
want to go down there, you know?" And she's like, "They know." And I said, "Are you sure?" Because she said that really loud. And so their manager was with them. And she was actually sitting with their manager.
Wow.
And so she looked at the manager and she said, "You know what time it is with us, right?" And he looked at me and he said, "What'd you say your name was again?" I said, "Jamie." He said, "Do you mean James?" "Yeah, we're cool." I was like, "Oh, okay then."
We're trucking.
And-
yeah.
I'm not going to say which one I was with out of that one, but out of respect, because,
Yeah.
they were cool. And I don't want to, I don't know
I
if he's
gotcha.
married, but actually this will give it away if he's married. The one I was with had a tattoo on his dick that said "Made in the USA" on the side of his cock.
Ooh.
Well, there you
Wow.
go.
So any of you deadhead groupies who have fucked him, if he had "Made in the USA" stamped on the side of his dick in ink, then that was the one that you just shared with me.
Of course, if it was flaccid, it would just be MDA. But anyway.
Well, it was only on a semi when I saw it, and you could still read it.
Oh, good,
so-
good for him.
Although it did
Nice.
make the flag look like it was waving a little. 'Cause
Right.
So, Mark, I'm so
That little
surprised.
No,
I'm so surprised. You promised me an R or G plus rating, and I got an X rating.
I will tell you. I told you guys have such great stories.
Still want to come sit on my lap?
I can't believe we're almost out of time. But Michael, what are you working on now?
Well, I'm happy you asked me that. I've been working on screenplay.
Yeah.
I am working with two dynamic teams.
Right.
One team is we're almost finished, but one of my members on that team is totally deaf,
Okay.
and he's been doing storyboards forever.
Okay.
And I looked at him one day, and there was another person we wanted to work with, and she's in the Beverly Hills scene.
Okay.
Her name is Kat Kramer. She's great.
All right.
And I looked at, Dan McClintock, that's his name,
Yeah.
and I said, wouldn't you like to work on a real script? Now, that wasn't an insult. It was like, wouldn't you like to do the dialogue along with the pictures?
Right.
And he got really excited because nobody's like really talking that. He goes, well, I'm good for doing the artwork because I'm just good for doing the artwork.
Right.
But all those years of doing that, and then someone says, don't we want to do the dialogue? And it was just, that moment?
Yeah.
It was like an orgasm in the brain. And we've been working together.
Somebody
and-
wants to collaborate with you
Yeah.
and bring out the best in you.
And he's been very, very good at what he does. And of course, when we're collaborating, if it doesn't fit the way it's supposed to, then we come in and we do the character roles. And we said, well, it should be this instead of that. And of course, oh, yeah, of course it would be. And we don't have any fights where we're throwing things against the wall. we're always agreeing toward the essence of what is supposed to be written, which
Right.
is rare. It's really cool.
That's great.
That's that team. And the other team, I can honestly say, is going to be interesting because it's fresh. There's new information that came out about a wonderful actress who fell off a boat and drowned. And we have some information on that. I can't go into great detail about that.
A lot of it's coming out.
And it is coming out because one of the writing team on that, we have 4 writers on that. Dan is one of them also. And is actually a investigative reporting type of guy that does police stuff.
Okay.
And he is amazing. He's a little bit older than we are, but he's fresh.
Yeah.
And he knew the detective team then, and he knows the current one now.
Wow.
So there is new information that will come out.
A lot of it is coming out.
That's a fascinating story.
And-
She starred in one of my favorite films,
Yeah.
Gypsy.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on, that was a hot film.
Gypsy was amazing.
That's a hot film.
And by the way, Hannah, I was going to mention this at the top of the show. You realize that when I first moved back to town, Michael and I called, and I was talking to him about wanting to get more into acting. And I'm doing a lot of acting roles lately. I'm doing one a pilot in a couple
You
weeks.
are.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
It's based on a lot of your advice, but he offered to be my co-host,
Aw.
and I had to tell him on the way here. First off, isn't Hannah wonderful?
Yes.
Yeah, you are. You're cool.
Oh, thank
But
you.
I just and the thing is, it's no offense. I would love to have you as a guest every week, but I need to have that feminine energy in the room. And I like the male female balance.
Yeah.
That's why I've always had female co-hosts and not comedians. That's the other thing. So that's
Yeah,
why I do
you're
it.
real.
So
for me
I
anytime
had
you want.
Josie, I had Nicole, now I have Hannah. So where does the time go? God, didn't I tell you 2 amazing storytellers?
And Jamie, like, what do you have? What's
well,
going on?
I was gonna get into that.
Yeah.
But I'm not done.
Oh wait, was more.
There's more. But I'm also in the studio because I've been recording music as
That's
well.
right.
And I think the next time I come in,
You'll have the record ready.
I'll have a different set of tunes.
Good. 'Cause
And-
last time you were on, you sang. We played Lady Nights,
That's right.
and I slow danced with Bree Walker. Well,
That was nice.
Aw.
yes,
That was my.
Cute.
yes.
I love Bree.
Lady
Bree,
Nice.
wherever you are, if you're listening, I love you,
We
baby.
love you.
Yes.
We all love you.
Nights. So yeah, we didn't even get into your music career. It's so much more. We're gonna have you back
We'll have
soon.
part 2.
Oh, I'll be back at the Laugh Factory in
I was gonna ask.
November.
November.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll
I
call
just
Aiden
spoke
and try to
with
get on
Aiden.
the same show.
I was trying to get Aiden to come on here for you.
I've been asking him about it.
And I told Aiden, I said, listen, I don't want to go on there and plug somebody else's show without asking them first. Do you mind
Yeah.
if I put in a word about Rainbow Pop, which you kind of did?
Yeah.
But I was telling him, Aiden, what you've accomplished, it's not just beautiful, it's historical.
I've asked him.
You know.
I've asked. I don't know if he's told you. I've asked him to be on the show a few times. I was going to ask him this time, but with the recent
Yeah.
death of his
Michael.
husband, I didn't. I
Michael
didn't
was
want
so amazing.
I met him. He's great. But anyway, Rainbow Pop is great. I will be there in November, whether I'm performing or not.
Yes, and I'm going to be taking some classes because, everyone said, well, you're a natural stage person. You've worked on all these different kinds of stages. Just go for it. And that's great. And your advice about putting in all the extra punchlines was,
Right.
I'm glad I did that because I think I got much more solid material now.
Plus,
But I don't think it hurts to hone your skill.
But you're
right.
So I'm going to go ahead and take a class in some improv stand-up.
Good for
stuff.
you.
But you
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
you maybe take it here at the Ruby. Who knows? But you have that star quality.
Thank
you both.
you.
I think Michael agrees.
I do. I agree, and I think that what you're doing with improv is so important
Thank you.
because you need to, you need to kind of bounce off of other people's
Yeah.
energy, but you have to know when to stop and when to push forward. Right?
And as always, Michael, with this great segue. If people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you, Jamie?
You can get a hold of me, really, if you type in Jamie Gendron, Gendron. You'll find me on most social media.
Right.
My handle on Instagram is ms_Jamie_Gendron.
Okay. And Michael, how do people get a hold of you on social media?
They're going to call you. No.
call me.
No, you can look me up on Facebook for now. I'm not into the Instagram yet, but I
Okay.
think that's coming next.
Yeah.
And I think I might be doing your show.
You might be.
I might be.
We're talking about it. We're going to talk to both of you about that.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd like
So
to see
we've
that.
got the CIA.
Yeah.
So
You
maybe
can
you come
find me
see
on
me.
Facebook too and Twitter.
Facebook, Twitter, and Hannah's Hail Hannah Box 666 on everything.
And that's BAKK, not BACH.
Right,
And
and
it's
I'm-
not back, it's Bach.
What is it?
Book. Book.
And Goth Comedian on all social media. Everybody have a wonderfully creepy week. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Oh, so much fun. I'm sorry we went a little long.